All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back. We're back with another video and part two of Whole Lot of Vinyl Finds. I didn't get to everything in the last video, and these are vinyl pickups for the past several months, and this will probably be another long enough one again. First off, what I'm spinning currently is Summer of Love. This is the soundtrack to the movie. Fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it yet, well worth checking out. And yeah, so this is the double album, original motion picture soundtrack, and it is absolutely terrific. I did pick it up on CD when it first came out. It first came out on CD and then months later on vinyl. I think that was kind of these supply chain issues. But it is absolutely terrific. I do hope actually that this is almost like Woodstock in terms of, I do hope they put out more albums or more CDs, because this only just scratches the surface of the the incredible showcase that was Summer of Love back in 1969. In Harlem. And interesting, the album has an extra track that's not available on the CD, sort of the other way around when things used to have the bonus tracks used to be on the CD and not on the vinyl. I think the extra track on the vinyl record is the song Africa by Abby Lincoln and Max Roach. But absolutely loving this Summer of Soul. Really terrific. Okay, so vinyl finds in the past several months. Picked this up at my local record store. Was thrilled to come across a Moby Grape, 1969. By this time, Moby Grape was definitely moving from their sort of psych rock kind of thing more to sort of a country sound, but another terrific Moby Grape album. And it was fairly reasonably priced. It didn't cost me an arm and a leg, so really, really thrilled to come across that. Okay, another Rory Gallagher album. This is the album Jinx, and this is put out by Sony and music on vinyl, and there's been quite a comprehensive Rory Gallagher reissue campaign, so always happy to come across any Rory Gallagher. The band Metro, I'm not too familiar with this band, but I do know they got kind of that glam rock thing going on, and the song Criminal World was covered by David Bowie on the album Let's Dance. I don't think they released too many albums, but the duo of Peter Godwin and Duncan Brown, along with Sean Lyons. So very happy to pick that one up. Okay, some Canadian content, if you will. The band Rough Trade featuring Carol Pope. This is quite simply their best of Birds of a Feather. And certainly at the time they had a lot of radio hits, but sort of at the time was kind of risque content, songs like High School Confidential, but they also had hits like All Touch, Fashion Victim. I've seen Rough Trade perform a few times actually in my hometown, both Rough Trade and Carol Pope performing solo, so nice to come across that. And another Canadian band, Parachute Club. This is At the Feet of the Moon. They a Toronto band in the 80s, kind of social justice kind of band, but had a really nice kind of funk thing going on, some nice bass work in their song. At the Feet of the Moon was the big hit from this one, and it featured Lorraine Segato on vocals. And I do love the original price sticker from A&A Records, only $5.97. There you go. Okay, early Bee Gees. Always happy to come across any early Bee Gees, and I've seen this one presented on the vinyl community. Never thought I would come across this one. This is the album Trafalgar, and of course features the initials of the original owner. But How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Okay, something a little different. How about the soundtrack to the Disney film Black Hole by John Barry? It's not bad. I don't know if I was expecting maybe a little bit more, something a little bit more interesting. I mean, the film did okay or not great at the time, the Black Hole. So yeah, I thought, well, I'll take the plunge and pick this one up. I got this very inexpensively, but yeah. Black Hole, Disney soundtrack. Okay, the drummer for Elton John, Nigel Olsson. He's put out a few solo albums, and I have two of his solo albums now, both kind of underwhelming. I don't know why I was expecting maybe necessarily a little bit more, or even just like kind of more pop or hit oriented, but it's just, I don't know, it's just underwhelming, his solo stuff. Okay, Julian Lennon, the debut Velotte. Julian Lennon was just recently interviewed on Word in Your Ear or Word in the Attic. David Hepworth and Mark Ellen. Nice interview. Julian Lennon still going, but this, of course, his debut Velotte, produced by Phil Ramone from 1984. And remember when the song Velotte came out, how much he sounded like his dad. Kind of again, kind of an underwhelming album. I think we were maybe expecting a little bit more. This is very middle of the road, kind of adult contemporary friendly kind of album, which, you know, for Julian, I think we would have wanted something a little bit more at the time, at least. Okay, the OJs and Family Reunion. I do love this cover, and of course, featuring the great work of Kenneth Gamble and Leon Huff. Always happy to pick up any OJs records. Okay, something a little different. This is KBC, and you might be thinking, what exactly is the KBC band? This is an offshoot of Jefferson Starship or Jefferson Airplane, depending on how you look at it. So this features Paul Kantner, Marty Balin, and Jack Cassidy. There you go. As you can see, it's got kind of the 80s feel going on to it. It's an okay album, not stellar by any stretch on Arista. What's interesting to note is that, you know, kind of plain, straightforward, but there's artwork inside. I guess if you were to take, you know, this apart, it's got like kind of a picture of, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's almost like a moon or something like that, and then sort of like looks like a roadway, so you can kind of see there, and there looks like something, well, it's a car, I think, but that's, you don't often see something like that. Okay, the Flying Burrito Brothers, or by this time just known as the Burrito Brothers, and this is their album Hearts on the Line. And this is on Curb Records, and this came out in 1981. Of course, many of the, you know, the early members, obviously, like Graham Parsons and Chris Hillman, gone by this time, but and pretty solid country with that album. Okay, the band Katrina and the Waves, and of course the classic song Walking on Sunshine featured on this one. Just, I don't know, the song that always makes me smile is Walking on Sunshine. So this is on Attic Records, and this band really kind of got their early success in Canada on Attic Records. Okay, there you go. And Canadian jazz piano player by the name of Oliver Jones. And this is Oliver Jones and Charlie Biddle, basically the Montreal International Jazz Festival. The similarities, you can't help but talk about the similarities between Oliver Jones and Oscar Peterson, both from Montreal area, both the jazz piano players. But really nice stuff. Happy to come across, because I've never seen Oliver Jones albums in the wild until now. Okay, this is actually an American artist who has his home in Canada, and it's Mark Jordan, and he's had radio hits over the years. I've always really liked the song Catch the Moon. It's just kind of a nice atmospheric kind of song, a radio hit sort of thing. He's had a few sort of radio hits, again, kind of middle of the road. Also a prolific writer. Rod Stewart's covered a couple of his songs, Mark Jordan, so nice to pick that up. The album as a whole, I was a little disappointed by it. Okay, I just seem to have new appreciation for the Mamas and the Papas and that whole Laurel Canyon kind of thing. You know, Mamas and Papas, a band you kind of took for granted, but, you know, terrific vocals and just great songs. Dedicated to the One I Love's on this one, their cover of My Girl. Creek Alley's on this one, their cover of Twist and Shout. Look Through My Window, you know, just great album. Okay, speaking of Jefferson Airplane, how about Jorma Kaukonen, if I'm pronouncing his name right, or yeah, I'm not going to butcher it anymore. Jorma Kaukonen. Okay, that's the last time I'll say it. This is the album Barbecue King. What a fantastic guitar player. This is just an absolutely amazing artist. And if you can check out his YouTube channel, he's been doing a lot of sort of, it's almost like concerts from the porch, or he did a number of sort of like lockdown sessions, and just amazing guitarist, of course, also with Hot Tuna. But yeah, I've never seen his albums in the wild until now, so really happy to come across this one. And this it's Barbecue King, and kind of his band Vital Parts, if you will. Okay, some early Eric Clapton. Didn't have this one, and of course the creepiest cover out there with the creepiest looking dog. I'm not quite sure. Eric Clapton, and there's One in Every Crowd on RSO. Early Clapton stuff, Yvonne Elliman backing vocals. This is an American band. Don't know much about it. The album Touch, not bad. All the ingredients are there, just no big hit or no big, something like that. This features band members are Greg Brooks, Mark Marigold, Doug Howard, and Glenn Cathcart on drums. Unfortunately, it's a little damaged on the cover, but got this for next to nothing. So that was kind of one of those almost blind buys. Took a chance with that one. And Can't Get Enough Camel. How about Rain Dances? And this one on What year did this one come out? It doesn't really say. Okay, and this does feature the original inner sleeve, which is quite nice, from 1977. There you go. Love the band Camel. Okay. And moving right along, we've got some Headpins. And a Headpins album I didn't have. A Headpins Canadian band with Darby Mills lead vocals, and featured two of the members from Chilliwack, including Brian Too Loud McLeod. And this is the album Head Over Heels. Okay, a little bit more prog rock. How about Triumvirate, a band that always played on the Triumvirate. Some alternative covers between Europe and North America. So this is the album Old Love Dies Hard. Old Loves Die Hard. Okay, and we'll switch it up to some jazz. How about Sonny Stitt, the saxophone of Sonny Stitt. This was a terrific album. Really enjoyed this one on Roost Records. Okay, I've shown this band before. Speaking of more prog rock, the Italian prog rockers PFM. I've got Chocolate Kings. This is the European cover, totally different cover from North America. And this is one of their English albums, Photos of Ghosts. And there you go. This one included the original insert. The North American cover has kind of like a chocolate bar with sort of American wrapping on it, sort of thing. So this includes the original sort of, it's almost like a double-sided poster sort of thing, with the sort of the lyrics on the one side in Italian, and then rather bizarre photography on the inside. Okay, some folky stuff. How about Tom Paxton? This is the only Tom Paxton I own. Complete Tom Paxton recorded live. Quite simply a double live album. Enjoyable, very folky, but, very enjoyable. And now we'll switch gears with Thor. This is Canadian kind of heavy rock, hard rock for the time. This came out in 1977, features John Michael Thor on lead vocals. Interesting stuff. If you like, kind of heavy rock or more obscure stuff, this is an album definitely worth picking up. Keep the Dogs Away. And this did include the original inserts and inner sleeve. And I didn't know it came with a poster, so here is the inner sleeve and the original sort of poster. There you go. And I think this fella did some acting. I think he's been featured in either TV shows or movies back in the day. Okay, we'll switch gears. I know Jeff from Speaker's Corner is a big fan of this band. This is the Essential Oregon, and it's so hard to try to classify the music of this band. It's everything from Baroque counterpoint, Indian raga, harmonically advanced improvisation. They're absolutely stunning. And gosh, the Aurora, the first track on here, is just incredible. So this is on Vanguard, so hence that kind of either world music or, kind of folk influence, but much more world influence. But happy to pick this up for sure. Okay, how about the Spinners? Got a soft spot for the Spinners, the best of the Spinners. I mean, they had so many great hits. I'll Be Around, One of a Kind Love Affair. That's the song that just popped in my mind now. Then Came You with Dionne Warwick. Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? Rubber Band Man. I mean, with Tom Bell, arranged, conducted, and produced. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, at first I'm thinking, oh gosh, is this Emerson, Lake and Palmer Love Beach? No, this is the band America, of course, produced by George Martin, and this is the album Harbor. And no big hits off this one, but this is a nice record. Again, George Martin, just does such a lovely job of producing, but again, great harmonies, and yeah, it was happy to pick this one up, and this one included I can't remember if this had a poster. Yes, it did. So I've been fairly lucky with often the posters are never included. So this one with the original sleeve and this poster, as I recall, is absolutely huge, and a double-sided poster too. But lately I've been having luck with the inserts included. So which way are we going here? So we got all of this going on here, and then we got this big picture on the back here. Very cool, and in nice shape too. Okay, always happy to pick up Uriah Heep records. It's interesting, I don't know, Uriah Heep records always seem to be kind of well enjoyed, or well used, and sometimes they're kind of battered, but these ones are not in too bad shape. And of course, the absolute classic Demons and Wizards and Wonderworld. Okay, there you go. Certainly an artist and band I have been getting into and really enjoying is the Alex Harvey Band. And here is a couple of the Alex Harvey, the new band. So this is a later configuration of the band. The Mafia Stole My Guitar. And live, the sensational Alex Harvey Band. Again, out of the UK. I don't know, it's good rock and stuff. I like the humor from this band, from this artist, and yeah, I've been enjoying that, and strangely been able to come across Alex Harvey stuff. And of course, anytime I come across any Golden Earring on vinyl, I tend to pick it up. I've got a lot of Golden Earring on CD, like the big box sets featuring their back catalog, but we've got the whole, and we've got Grab It for a Second. But always rocking Golden Earring. Peter Frampton. This is Peter Frampton and Breaking All the Rules. And this has got some good stuff on here. Especially the earlier the Peter Frampton, the better. This is 1981. So this, certainly came well after the live album. But he does a cover of Friday on My Mind on this one. So interesting. Okay, Cheap Trick. Didn't have this on vinyl until now. Cheap Trick, and this is it Lap of Luxury? Yes, Lap of Luxury. Of course, this features the mega hit, The Flame, and I do like their cover of Don't Be Cruel. That was fun too. But yeah, happy to pick this one up. Cheap Trick and The Flame. Okay, we've got changing gears now. How about Europe and the final countdown? I don't know if there's anything more you can say about this, but it's fun. It's fun. Here is a fairly obscure Canadian band, Pile Driver and Metal Inquisition. Again, when you talk about, shall we say, risque subject matter, but this is great. I mean, it's fun. It's tongue in cheek, and it's rocking for sure. And this came out on Cobra Records, 1984. So it's got that 80s metal sound. Came across this album, not the original cover, of course, but this is the Christian heavy metal bands Striper and To Hell with the Devil. And I think everybody knows this band. I don't know if there's anything more I can add to it, but not the original cover, but pretty much the cover that you see most often. Okay, I've seen this presented a few times. People not fans of this either particular album, but Twisted Sister and Come Out and Play. Twisted Sister, again, I like the humor of this band. Not a terrific album, but not bad. I mean, this does feature, it's kind of neat. It features the original, all that kind of silly stuff there. I mean, it's a band not to be taken too seriously, just fun, and it is what it is. It's Twisted Sister. Come on. There you go. Okay, I think this album has maybe recently been reissued, but pretty happy to come across this fairly, at least for me, more obscure UK band. This is Grim Reaper and See You in Hell. Nice record. And this came out, doesn't have a year, I want to say 1984. There you go. Robert Plant, this is Robert Plant and Now and Zen. Robert Plant just recently played the Glastonbury Festival with Alison Krauss, and they've got some clips on YouTube, and man, sounding fantastic. But of course, this from 1988 on Atlantic, and it's interesting with Robert Plant when I'm playing some of these, especially the Robert Plant 80 stuff, fun to listen to and enjoy, but it's fascinating. He's not going to produce music like this anymore. Like, he's just so beyond this kind of a sound or this kind of thing going on that it's interesting. It's like a different Robert Plant. Okay, the Cars and Greatest Hits didn't have this one, and it's it says, the title says it's Greatest Hits. It's a single record, so probably easily could have maybe done like a double album, but it's got pretty much everything you want on there. Okay, a couple of Carly Simon records. We've got Carly Simon, and this one is simply called Spy. And We're So Close was one of the hits from this one. Not major hits on this one, but another nice Carly Simon sounding record. And then we have Carly Simon's debut, which I really enjoyed, on Elektra from 1971. That's the way I've always heard it should be, is kind of the featured one on here. But I don't know, I really enjoyed this one in particular. Okay, Rare Earth in Concert. This is a double album. This, unfortunately, along with the sort of, I don't want to say hype sticker because it's actually part of the artwork, talks about poster pullout with live action shots of Rare Earth. Wasn't included with this, but this has got kind of it's a double album. And it's got kind of, it's like the knapsack sort of thing where it comes out and both the records are inside like that. But some great stuff on here. Rare Earth is such a great band. If you come across Rare Earth stuff, just pick it up because you're going to enjoy it. I mean, Rare Earth on the Motown label, but, funky and rockin'. Great stuff. Okay, something fairly obscure. How about Mighty Pope, a Canadian artist, and this is his album Sway. He had some radio hits, kind of a disco style, and he continues that sort of thing on this record, because this is 1979, so you're still in that sort of disco era. He does a nice cover of New Orleans, a lot of covers on this one, including Because the Night. Also, Inagata Davida, believe it or not. But for whatever reason, I think it works on this record. I mean, if you were going to tell me a disco cover version of Inagata Davida, I'd be like, what? But it works on this record. Mighty Pope and Sway. He had the big Canadian radio hit was Heaven on the Seventh Floor. Okay, Walter Rossi, a great Canadian guitarist of Italian heritage, and his debut album. And if you come across any, unfortunately, I don't know why the X on there, but if you come across any Walter Rossi, pick it up. You can usually find his stuff fairly inexpensively, at least up in Canada on Aquarius Records. But great guitarist and just great stuff. And Doug Riley and King Biscuit Boy both featured on this one. Doug Riley was a big Canadian radio, a big Canadian musician, session kind of guy, and then King Biscuit Boy on harp. Very nice. Okay, here's the unusual sort of twofer things. This is the Beach Boys, a twofer. This is Friends, of course, originally released in 1968, and then Smiley Smile. Of course, with completely different covers, kind of like a budget twofer reissue, but interesting to have Friends and Smiley Smile. So you had Smiley Smile in 67, and then Friends that came out in 68. But nice to have. I don't have a vinyl copy of a Smiley Smile, so it's nice to have this one. And pretty inexpensive, too. Okay, how about the Kitchener-Waterloo Band? I believe they were from Kitchener-Waterloo. And the reggae band Messenger, Cool Operator. And I remember their stuff from the early 80s, and they had just, they were a reggae band kind of trying to cross over into pop, but it had a really good sound overall. The band Messenger, some Canadian reggae. I've seen this presented many times, and this is Spooky Tooth, and the album You Broke My Heart, So I Busted Your Jaw, Spooky Tooth. This has had a few different album covers over the years, and very interesting artwork, shall we say the least, but Spooky Tooth, of course, a fantastic UK band. I'm always happy to pick up any Spooky Tooth. And moving right along, how about Pentangle? And this is a beautiful album, Cruel Sister on Reprise, featuring Jack Orion completely on side 2. More heavy, great folk stuff or traditional music from that band. I never thought I'd come across this one for whatever reason, and I've always really enjoyed this Brian Wilson solo album, simply titled Brian Wilson, and this features the great track Love and Mercy. This is one of those that easily could have been a Beach Boy album at the time, and of course executive producer Dr. Eugene Landy, and of course any Brian Wilson or Beach Boy fans know their fortunate relationship with those two, or with Dr. Landy. But a great Brian Wilson solo album. happy to come across that. Okay, didn't have this one on vinyl, but here we go. Billy Joel and Glass Houses. I mean, talk about hit after hit on this one. You may be right. And it was interesting, Billy Joel trying to go a little bit more rock with this album, kind of getting away from the sort of piano thing, if you will, at least for this album. And certainly the way music was going by the late 70s. But you may be right. Don't ask me why. Still rock and roll to me. All featured on that one. Okay, a band, Magna Carta, and this is Lord of the Ages. And if you're thinking it's more prog rock, it tends to be a little bit more folk rock, but still very enjoyable. And just a great cover, but it's not prog rock for sure. Magna Carta. Okay, I picked up Led Zeppelin's In Through the Outdoor. Of course, one of the many variant covers on this one. I always enjoyed this one. Some Zeppelin fans are not fans of this particular album, but and it does have the original inner sleeve. But overall, for what they were doing, where they were maybe going at the time, I still really enjoyed that album. Okay, picked up Doug Kershaw. This is Alive and Pickin', recorded live in Atlanta. It's pretty much as the cover, or as the tin says, it's bluegrass, it's fiddle, it's pickin', it's fun. Okay, a Saga album that I didn't have. This is a Saga, and the album Wildest Dreams. And they were going through kind of a transition. They had a number of band members leave. At this time, it was pretty much just down to the three. Lead vocalist Michael Sadler, and then the Crichton brothers. And yeah, not bad. I mean, not a terrific album. As I said, they were kind of in a transition at this point, for sure. Okay, a Johnny Winter album I didn't even know existed. There's sometimes these Johnny Winter albums that pop up. Like, he's recorded so much over the years. Johnny Winter and Captured Live, and another great live Johnny Winter album. Love that shot on the back cover there. But Boney Maroney on this one. Highway 61 Revisited. Good stuff. Okay, how about a couple more Roy Buchanan albums? We got Roy Buchanan and When a Guitar Player Plays the Blues. This is later stuff on Alligator. We've got early Roy Buchanan, That's What I'm Here For, on Polydor. And we've got Roy Buchanan, In the Beginning, on Polydor. Love Roy Buchanan. Okay, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, best of. The Blood, Sweat, and Tears greatest hits. I've had this on CD, didn't have it on vinyl. Blood, Sweat, and Tears featuring Canadian David Clayton Thomas on lead vocals on most of the tracks. And yeah, I mean, boy, those early 70s hits, fantastic. Okay, Roxy Music back out on tour. Did not have a copy of Roxy Music Country Life, at least with this cover, the fourth Roxy Music album. Great stuff. Okay, Billy Squier. Don't have much Billy Squier. We've got The Tale of the Tape. This one's okay. As I recall, no big hits off this one. I mean, obviously, you could see where he's going with everything, and this on Capitol. But yeah, I've just found this album okay. But nice to have. Okay, we'll switch gears. This was a thrift store find. This is the Shearing Spell, the George Shearing Quintet. Love the cover. I don't know. And it's just, I've got a soft spot for this kind of, melodic, kind of orchestral kind of stuff. But yeah, couldn't pass this one up. Okay, Kingfish and Trident. And this was Bob Weir's band. Bob had pretty much left by this time, and I don't want to say kind of a Grateful Dead offshoot, but yes and no. But they've recorded a number of albums over the years, and they do have that sort of country rock kind of thing going on. But yeah, Kingfish and Trident. Happy to find that one. A Slade album that I didn't have until now, and I've seen this presented so many times on the VC, but happy to finally pick up a copy of Slade. And it's great stuff, especially with Mama We're All Crazy Now, The Whole World's Going Crazy, which April Wine covered that song. But yeah, from 1972, Slade and Slade. There you go, on Polydor. Okay, anytime I come across a Warner Lost Leader, I grab it. This is a nice one. The whole Burbank catalog. Much of the world is sometimes covered by darkness. And of course, this was albums you could mail away for only $2. But fantastic. Absolutely love these compilations. And this one features, gosh, I mean, it's unfortunately they never have or rarely have the artists listed on the back here, but just going through this, Jerry Garcia, Jackie Lomax, Captain Beefheart, T-Rex, Alice Cooper, early Fleetwood Mac from Future Games area. Also Jethro Tull, the Faces, you know, just wonderful stuff. And I do love, you know, the nice write-ups on each of the bands. Again, this would be the Warner Reprise catalog sort of thing. So I'm not sure if that page kind of, yes, it does. Okay. But anytime I come across these, always pick these up. Okay, a great Canadian artist. I do have a lot of his catalog, Ray Materik, and this is Neon Rain. Ray Materik, really nice country rock, great vocals, and this one has the hit, Linda Put the Coffee On, which, again, I've had a number of Ray Materik albums, and certainly his early stuff was great, but yeah, finally got the hit, Linda Put the Coffee On. So, again, real nice country rock, nice vocals, well worth checking out. Okay, Greg Lake. Got a couple of Greg Lake albums, and as you can see, kind of a 80s. This is 1981. The album simply titled, is it simply titled Greg Lake? Yep, from 1981. And then on Chrysalis, this is from 1983. And this one called Maneuvers. And as you can see, 80s style, 80s production, a little disappointing, quite frankly. Yeah, I was expecting more, especially Greg Lake, such a terrific vocalist. And yeah, I was just expecting a little bit more. Okay, how about Mahalia Jackson? Now we got some budget albums I'm going to show you. Mahalia Jackson, Great Getting Up Morning, the world's greatest gospel singer, of course. Mahalia Jackson, enough said. Don't know why I picked up these Gladys Knight. I love Gladys Knight and the Pips, but these are really sort of early budget albums that are just okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't pay too much for these, but I probably really shouldn't have picked these up because sometimes, especially when you get the electronically enhanced for stereo, is not always a good thing. But it's Gladys Knight and the Pips, so there you have it. Okay, here is a American artist that made their home in Canada, an artist I was not familiar with, but boy, I'm so happy I picked these albums up. Ellen McIlwain, and comparing to Bonnie Raitt, it's not folk stuff. She's much more of a blues artist and a great guitarist, great vocalist. She passed away, I believe, just last year in Calgary. So spent most of her time in Canada, and some records that were released on Polydor. And again, really comparing her to Bonnie Raitt, because it's interesting some of the song selection that she does. She's also a big fan of Jack Bruce, but on this album alone, this is Honky Tonk Angel, and she does Can't Find My Way Home on this one, like just Ode to Billy Joe on this one as well. And then there's some interesting covers on this one, like she does Higher Ground and Born Under a Bad Sign on this album. But well worth checking it out. Kind of very much like a Bonnie Raitt type of artist. But if you come across them, pick them up. Great albums. Okay, just a few more to show. We got Kate and Anna McGarrigle. And this one on Polygram, of course, Love Over and Over. The great Folk Sisters. And Mark Knopfler featured on this one. Wow. Amazing. Yeah, happy to pick that one up. Nick Mason. Nick Mason, early solo stuff with Profiles. Of course, this is before his recent Nick Mason configuration, Saucer Full of Secrets. So this is Nick Mason, and the Fenn artist is an artist I'm not familiar with. And what is his first name? So it's Mason and Fenn, as you can see. And if I can come up with the name of the artist, and Mel Collins is also featured on this one, Rick Fenn. But again, his early stuff had kind of that. This one is particularly, he's got a little bit more of a sort of a kind of a jazz influence going on. But really enjoyed some of the early Nick Mason records that are also. I've got like a CD that features a number of the early Nick Mason stuff. Okay, I picked this one up. Rod Stewart. This is his latest album, but I picked this up used. Rod Stewart, The Tears of Hercules, and in fact, chatting about Mark Jordan earlier. And Mark Jordan wrote the title track on this one, Tears of Hercules. I think the reviews are accurate for this one. There's some nice moments on here. There's some not so good moments on here. Overall, it's kind of quite a mixed bag, but it's Rod Stewart. So I do kind of like his tribute to Mark Bolan song on here, Born to Boogie. As I say, it's got some nice moments and some still kind of almost Rod Stewart kind of cringy moments, but there you go. And speaking of Rod Stewart, how about we do some early Rod Stewart? And this is the Best of Rod Stewart Volume 2. You know, you got some great stuff on here. Nice double album. Always the showman, Rod Stewart. And Rod Stewart's still going. And we're going to wrap it up with some fairly obscure Canadian stuff. How about Humphrey and the Dump Trucks song from Cruel Tears? So this is based on a radio play, as I recall. And Humphrey and the Dump Trucks had kind of that country rock, country folk thing going on in the 70s, and this on Sunflower Records. And of note is Janet Wright here, who has since passed, and any fans of the show Corner Gas with Brent Butt, which was a great, funny Canadian TV show over the years. She played the mom on that show. So Humphrey and the Dump Trucks songs from Cruel Tears. Okay, so that is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for dropping by, and hopefully there was something that you enjoyed, at least one or two records in there. We'll chat again soon. Do take care. Bye-bye.